Hi, I'm Tim Goldich, author of Loving Men, Respecting Women, The Future of Gender Politics. The book's one overarching concept that pervades and unifies every aspect of my book can be described in a single word: balance. The book's radical premise is simply this: in the benefits enjoyed and the liabilities suffered, in the power and the victimization, the freedoms, the constraints, the joys and sorrows, the good and the bad. It all balances out between woman and man, and it always has. Historically, the gender system has certainly been less than perfect, inflicting injustices on both sexes alike. But these injustices have come out even. Ours has been an imperfect, yet essentially balanced gender system, except for one thing: the gender belief system. If I could, I would shift the entire gender belief system away from feminism's male power, female victimization paradigm and toward a balanced gender paradigm. As it stands now, there's an assumption of imbalance, an imbalance of power enjoyed by men and an imbalance of victimization suffered by women. That's the story we make up, but that has never been more than half the full story. The other half, the female power, male victimization half of the story, remains obscure because neither sex wants to hear it. Nevertheless, for every one female complaint, there is an equal and opposite male complaint. For every one CEO, there have been many POWs. Hard, hazardous labor, battlefields, prisons, mines, the streets, the sewers. Men have always occupied both extremes, the most and the least enviable positions on earth, the latter in far greater numbers than the former. Imagine, if you will, a gigantic scale with love on one end of the balance beam and respect on the other. This love-respect dynamic upon which gender balance pivots can be described in two brief statements. Throughout history, both sexes have tended to respect men more than women. Throughout history, both sexes have tended to love women more than men. Feminism has rightly protested women's lesser status in all things along the respect axis. Both sexes have listened, and both sexes have done much to change the cultural environment in ways that promote greater respect toward women. That men are less loved, however, may ring true from the start and be met with cynicism just the same. Both sexes receive the female side with empathy and the male side without empathy, exactly because both sexes love women more and men less. Hostility, when it's directed at women, is given a pejorative label. We call it misogyny. It is given this very negative label because hostility toward women is forbidden. Arguably, ours is really more of a misandric, male-bashing culture. But few know this word, misandry, a word that would condemn hostility toward men in the same way that misogyny condemns hostility toward women. But our lack of love toward men is so pervasive as to be invisible, and we concern ourselves with it so little, we don't even have a word for it. This balance that I speak of is revealed in the following four key statements. 1, at birth, members of both sexes are assigned a role, socialization, and conditioning that facilitate and ensure a world in which men are more respected, less loved, and women are more loved, less respected. 2, historically, men have been no more empowered to escape their biology, role, socialization, conditioning, and concurrent fate than women have. 3, the two sexes, equally powerless and equally powerful, have applied an equal overall force of influence in the molding of our world and are thus equally responsible for outcomes. 4, throughout history, the enormous consequences suffered by women for being less respected have been matched in full by the enormous consequences suffered by men for being less loved. These 4 statements are key because, taken together, they lead inexorably to the one key truth: it all balances out. What I say will strike some as an outrage, but I can make my case well. Indeed, I intend to do so because I firmly believe that a culture-wide understanding and perception of this balance that I speak of forms the only path leading to the full restoration of love and respect between the sexes. As things stand here with the new millennium stretched out before us, we sense that quite a profound wedge has been driven between the sexes. Progressing further while healing the divide will require a new system of sexual politics. It will require replacing feminism with equalism, a new gender-neutral gender politics that deals with the many and varied issues of men and women as mirror opposites that balance each other. This balance is plain to see, but only to those who have come to an understanding of both perspectives, female and male. We've learned to take seriously the need to better respect women, but our lack of love toward men itself blinds us to the need to be equally understanding and sympathetic when it comes to the issues and inequities of men. Both sexes must see beyond the illusions of Superman. Men must speak from their honest, true, vulnerable perspective, and women must listen. Only then can the gender politics of the future be built upon an even foundation. This concludes It All Balances Out Part 1. I'm Tim Goldich. Thanks for watching. I invite you to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.